Good evening, everybody. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV. Chelsea versus Newcastle United match preview. Ahead of our quarter-final clash at Stamford Bridge at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. How are you, Roly?
Um, Tired but feeling positive. Post Champions League. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah. So if you do like what you see, then please do smash that like. It does help the channel up the search. So if you haven't yet given it a like, please do. These new viewers find it easy. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, come and smash the subscribe. Free to do so, and come and join this great community we have here. We are now 37 away from 1100. Also, if you want to be notified of any shows, pre-recorded or lives, then please hit that bell notification. That will tell you when. Also, if you want to become a member, it's 99p. You can do that by clicking the join button. And also, if you want to make a donation, you can do that in the chat by clicking the $sign. Or super chats that will be read out first as well. First of all, I'm going to get to some comments. And by the way, Roly, did you enjoy your Christmas do on Friday night, wherever you went to? Did you enjoy your Brussels sprouts and your Brussels patty and your Belgian chocolates?
We went to a restaurant in Liverpool, a really nice one. And then really good food. Then we went to the Hot Water Comedy Club, which was superb. So everyone
your Brussels sprouts nice, Roly, were they?
I didn't have Brussels. I had Greek chicken and couscous, which was really nice.
A bit of Marinakis, was it? Talking about Marinakis, I mean, look, it's as you talk about another club, Nottingham Forest, there's rumours circulating tonight that he's desperately trying to get rid of Steve Cooper, and he's now talking to Nuno Espirito Santos to become their new manager. I find that a bit disrespectful when you've got a manager in play. Why don't you sack him first and then go around speaking? But that's the way football is nowadays. Right. Julie says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, Julie. Hope you're well. Evening, Tony says, Bia. Good evening, Bia. Gary says, good evening, Tony and Bia. Good evening to you, Gary. Hope you're well. Gary says, hi, Roly. You okay, matey?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Bia says, hi, Uncle. Roly's returned from Belgium. Mad Max says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, mate. Hope you're well. Cy Robson says, evening. Good evening, Cy. Hope you're well, too. Bia says, I love hot water. That's where I first saw Mr. Badger. He was a fantastic comedian.
Yeah, it's a good night out there.
There you go. Even Bia knows it. So there you go, Roly. Lee says, evening, Tony and Roly and everyone. How are you all keeping? 3-1 win for us against Chelsea. Was you drinking Belgium lager on Friday night, Roly?
They didn't have any, otherwise I would have been. They make some cracking lager.
Because, Friday night Foxy was on and he said, it's a shame Roly's not here, isn't it? He says, but there again, I shouldn't be surprised. He says, Antwerp beat Belgium. He said, beat Barcelona. He said, look, Belgium league, what a fantastic league it is, And I thought Roly might have been on, so I could have told him that, Thing is, Roly, you're never going to live that down now. And Foxy's always going to be on, and everybody else was as well, saying, wouldn't that be some Brussels sprouts or Belgian chocolates or Belgian lager?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with Belgium. I like Belgium. I'm going there in April next year. I'm just not a fan of that. I'm not convinced about their football league.
Ryan says, hello, lads. Not been on a well. How yous all keeping? Yeah, I've been keeping fine, mate. And nice to see you back, Ryan, by the way. And absolutely great. Mad Max says, I can't lie. See, I'm not nervous. Chelsea are hit and miss, to be honest. This may be all they can salvage from the season. They've been diabolical, but don't think it'll be an easy win for us. I don't think it'll be an easy win, but I think we should win the game. Um, Ryan says, Mad Mag, don't think there's any easy wins in top level football these days. No, you're not wrong at all. Absolutely. Evening, guys, says Alan. Good evening to you, Alan. Hope you're well, mate. Um, yeah, I mean, look, one thing I am going to touch on, and there's a lot of rumours going around, and the rumour, let's say the jungle drums in the media are beating very, very loud at the moment. Um, and it's going to Man United again now. So Jim Ratcliffe is supposed to be buying 25% of Man United. Um, Although his deal's not rubber stamped yet by the Premier League. It may take 18 months, let's hope it does, but I doubt it will very much. But it hasn't been rubber stamped as yet. But he's already making moves in the boardroom at Man United of what he wants to do. Now, the current director of football they've got there, he's already taught, even though he's not in the club yet, by the way, he's already got an agreement with him that when he brings his own sporting director in, that he will move into another position of doing more admin than anything. Now, if I was that sporting director, I'd be saying, you know what, you can stick your admin, I'll go elsewhere. But then it depends what sort of money he's going to get as well. Now then, why I'm coming to this now is the name Dan Ashworth is being mentioned and hotly linked with Man United now. Right. I'm going to put my take on this, right? Now, the media can put out there, Manchester Evening News have got out there that apparently Dan Ashworth is the number one that Jim Ratcliffe wants in the club. So apparently he's going to control the football side and the Glazers are going to move over to probably like the commercial deals and things like that. Can you see the Glazers staying out of this? I can't, in all honesty. Now then. Now, if I was Dan Ashworth, or if Dan Ashworth ever came on and watched this podcast, I've got a message for you, Dan. Think twice, Celine Dion. Think twice, because I tell you now, why would you want to leave a project in Newcastle United that is only going one way and that's up? Man U are in decline. They're a laughing stock. They're a circus. You know, at the end of the day, that's all they are, is a circus, Man United. They get a draw with Liverpool. Fair enough, they get a 0-0 draw, they scrape it or whatever, because Liverpool had most possession. I didn't see the game, but I just saw the stats, and it seemed like Liverpool were on top in that game. But then Man United are the type of team that will beat Liverpool, will get a draw with Liverpool, but then they'd go to say probably Luton Town and get beat 3-0. Do you know what I mean? That's the type of team Man United are, you know. But look, at the end of the day, why does Dan Ashworth want to leave a club like Newcastle to go to a club that's in decline? A club that is going backwards and spiraling backwards at an alarming rate. I, for one, don't think he will go. 2 weeks' time, the window opens 2 weeks today. So he's going to be busy there, sorting stuff out. I honestly don't think he will go. It doesn't matter how much Jim Ratcliffe throws at him. Man United is not the team now that as soon as people hear the words Man United, they think, oh, that's a club. I'll go there. Not now, you don't. You think of Man United and you think, oh, toxic club. Keep away from them, because that's the way they are now. I honestly don't think Jim Ratcliffe's going to make much difference when he comes in, because they've still got the Glazers there. And the toxicity in that club is just horrendous. Mainly because a lot of them travel from London. They're all bloody tourists. Look, there is no way. I don't think Dan Ashworth would leave Newcastle United. There's no way in God's earth he's leaving to go down or go across to the northwest and sign up for that shite, that playing red. You know, we've took them apart twice this season, 3 times in a row. We've beat them now. You know, they've got a manager there who, let's be honest, isn't a Premier League manager. He's been found out well and truly, and he can't cope at this level. His level is Eredivisie in Holland. So he possibly needs to go back there. When you've got a club like Man United who are even adding Graham Potter to a shortlist, even though they're saying, oh, we're not sacking Ten Hag, and you're thinking, well, hang on a minute. Why are you going public saying that you're adding this manager to your shortlist, but you're not going to sack your manager? You know, they've got players out. Sancho's out. He's been banished because he's got mental health problems, which is absolutely disgraceful from Ten Hag. If you've got somebody with mental health problems, you help sort them out. You help with counselling. You make sure that person's all right. That quality of life's going to be better. You don't banish them altogether and say, I don't want nothing to do with you now. You know, absolutely disgraceful treatment from Ten Hag. You know, anybody with mental health issues should get the help and support that they actually need and not be banished. And that's in all walks of life, by the way, not just football, but all walks of life. But Man United, they're not the pull that they used to be. I'm sorry, they are not. If say you've got a player, well, say for instance, we're in for a player, Man U's in for a player. Where's that player going to join? Are they going to join Man United? Or are they going to join Newcastle United? More than likely, they'll join us because they know we're a project and we're on the up. And they'll see the type of football we play under Eddie Howe. They don't want to see the sideways football that they play under Ten Hag, the boring shite. You know, do you see Man U go attacking much? Only when they're dominating a team that are shite. That's all. They got hammered off Bournemouth. Bournemouth taught them a football lesson. Bournemouth were actually robbed of a 4th goal. You know? So, you know, and then for them to come out and get a draw at Liverpool, that probably feels like a massive point to them because that was probably a 6th pointer for them to stay in the division. But honestly, I don't think Dan Ashworth will go to Man United. He wouldn't do it. I don't think he would. Why would he? When you've got everything at Newcastle United, we've got great ownership, you know, we've got the backing from PIF as well. You know, we've got all these great sponsorship deals coming through. Adidas are coming back next year. You know, the garden's rosy now. It's a club on the up. Dan Ashworth works well with Eddie Howe, as we know. So why would Dan Ashworth suddenly say, well, actually, no, I want to go and join Man United? Now, if he did say, I want to go and join Man United, then okay, that's fair enough. PIF, Manda, Jamie would all probably say, right, okay, well, there's nothing we can do. He wants to go, we'll let him go. And that's fine because they'll line up somebody else to come in as sporting director. So it's not like if we lost Dan Ashworth, it's the end of the world, because it's not. But I honestly don't think he would go to Man United. Who would, in their right mind, go to Man United? It's a poison chalice, that club. It really is at the moment. And, you know, I think even if they got rid of Ten Hag, to be honest with you, I don't think they would get a decent manager in there, because who on the right mind would want to go into that club? You know, you've got some big personalities in there, the likes of Bruno Fernandes, the likes of Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford, who isn't even one of the best left wingers in the Premier League at this moment, but gets in the England squad ahead of the best Premier League left winger in Anthony Gordon. So, look, at the end of the day, I think Dan Ashworth will stay with Newcastle United, and he will tell Man United to go and politely F off, basically. Roly, give me your thoughts on that.
Well, with Radcliffe, he's got a wish list of who he wants to take to Man United. I have a wish list of what I want for Christmas. A 300-foot yacht, one of them. Top of the range Maserati is another one. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it. he could want Dan Ashworth, but it doesn't mean he's going to get it. It's not like that they can definitely say, "Oh, well, it's about money," because we could pay more than Man United can because our owners are richer if they wanted to. But I think that the thing with Ashworth is that he's got his teeth into the job. The club is all about togetherness, working together, and harmony, and getting results. And why would he want to leave that to a club that's really toxic at the moment?
Mm-hmm.
Manchester United remind me a bit of Liverpool in the 90s, and how Man United were in the 70s. For those of you who can remember, they're big clubs that were going nowhere. When I was growing up and getting into football in the mid-70s, Man United were a massive club, but they were mid-table. No one expected them to do anything.
Yeah.
And if you look at Liverpool in the 90s, they were a mid-table team. No one was expecting them to do anything. Still had that big name, but we're doing bugger all. And I think that's what Man United are at the moment. Whereas we're on the up and up. We're going to be winning stuff, possibly this season. It's just, I don't know why you'd want to leave.
No, absolutely. Ian says, even an Ian, by the way.
Never say never, but as you said, if he does go, they'll have someone in mind to replace him.
Gary's asking the question, do you think Ashworth would turn down 20 million a year? It's not all about money, Gary, at the end of the day. Yes, I know the same money talks, but at the end of the day, where is he more happy at? Where is he going to have the better? Where's he got the better? Where's the better job going to be? Is it going to be here or is it going to be at Man United? And would you want to go to Man U or would you want to stay at Newcastle United? You know, it's like saying, like for instance, if I had this sort of job, say at Newcastle United, and I've got Man United wanting me, and I've got Brentford wanting me. Now, all the journals are going to say, "Oh well, Tony's off to Man United." But if you're clever, you look at that and you think, right, okay. You think, why would I go to Man United? Toxic club, toxic fans, get the Norwich scarves out when nothing goes their way, shout for the manager's head every 5 minutes. You know, they get on their podcasts and start shouting about the ownership. Do I want to be part of that? No, not really. Oh, I could go to the G-Tech at Brentford. Now, that's it. That's a nice club because they're a bit of a community club. You know, the fans don't turn on the players. Like, you know, they don't ask for the manager to be sacked when things do go a little bit wrong. You know, they're bringing good players that, you know, that they're sensible. There's no toxicity at that club. So if that was a choice that if I had to leave that job and go to a job, say either Man United or Brentford, I would weigh up the options first, and I would think Brentford over Man United any day because the way the clubs run, and because the fans aren't toxic either. Are you saying you go the other way, Roly?
Most probably, because it's not a good comparison comparing Brentford to Newcastle.
No, I'm not comparing Brentford to Newcastle. I'm saying to Man United.
Yeah, I know, but the original talk is about Ashworth choosing to stay at Newcastle or go to Manchester United. Now you look.
No, I mean, yeah, obviously, if you were, but I mean,
all you said about Brentford is correct, but it is a small club.
What I'm saying to you, Roly, is if say for instance, right, just say look, Dan Ashworth. You know, I'm just saying in general, if Doesn't matter if it's Newcastle or not, but whatever job you're in, if you're having to leave that job, but you've got options of going to another couple of jobs, who would you rather pick? Would you rather pick Man United or Brentford? That's what I'm saying.
You'd have to weigh up all the pros and cons, but I think in likelihood most people would go for Man United mainly because of the club, the history, and also they'll be able to pay you more. I think everything you said about Brentford is true. Good club, well run community club, good atmosphere. But
Yeah,
you're given it's almost like trying to be cruel to Brentford. It's like if you're going to be given a car, you get a chance to have a decent BMW or a Mini. Which would you pick? You go for the BMW. That's no disrespect to Brentford. I think they're a cracking little club, and that's the thing. It's a little club. Now, if you said Man United or Villa, there's no contest. You go to Villa every day of the week. Even West Ham, you go to West Ham rather than going to Man United. Once you start getting into the smaller clubs, like Brentford, again, I think you go to Man United. But I think the only other big club that you'd have pause for thought, the worst choice you could have, in my opinion, is you either going to go to Man United or you're going to go to Chelsea. Because I think if you had that choice, you'd probably be better off staying unemployed because they're both toxic clubs. But you see the point I'm making. It's not so much that.
No, I know that, Roly. Yeah,
anything against Brentford, but it's just it's almost a kudos of going to a big club and seeing if you can make a difference as opposed to a little club. I mean, that's part of the reason that Dan Ashworth came to us, because it's a big step up from Brighton.
Or if I was saying, the way I should have worded it, maybe Roly was right. Okay, so you're an unemployed sporting director. Who would you choose, Man U or Brentford?
I think the answer is still the same, but I think that again, it all depends on what sort of progression you think you can make where you are in your career, because in some instances Brentford would be the right move if you're to build a reputation to go on to do bigger and better things. If you're a well established sporting director like Dan Ashworth, I think with that choice you probably go to Manchester United.
Yeah, I don't
Not
think
that you wanted to go or think that anyone should go there, but I think that most people would choose that in that particular scenario. But
the thing is,
both clubs is valid.
Yeah, the thing is, Dan Ashworth came into this for the project.
Oh yeah,
and and we see what he's like with the fans, with the squad and everything. So the thing is, look, at the end of the day, Dan Ashworth won't give a shit if Man U offer him 60 million quid a year, because he probably thinks, I don't want the shite there. I'd rather stay where I am. It's better here. The club's on the up. We don't have a fickle fan base like Man United do.
I mean, the thing with Ashworth rather, is that he's in a situation with his reputation where he can pick where he goes.
Mm-hmm.
So if he wants to go to Manchester United, he can go there. But equally, if he doesn't want to go and he wants to stay with Newcastle, he can stay. He's not beholden to the clubs, because he's got that reputation. He could walk into any job if he wanted it.
When Man U got beat, or got thumped, I should say. I shouldn't say beat, I should say thumped, because they were thumped off Bournemouth, by the way. They weren't beaten, they were thumped. When they got thumped off Bournemouth, the fans wanted Ten Hag out. Get him out the club, he's shit. Sack him, sack him, sack him. Get a draw with Liverpool. Oh, let's put a statue outside Old Trafford of Ten Hag because he's got a draw at Liverpool. Honestly, these fans are just fickle fans. They really are. 1 minute, they want them out the exit door. You know, they want to, they want to give him his P45 and say, there you go, off you go. And then the next minute, because he gets a credible draw against Liverpool, oh, he's the best thing in the world now. It's honestly, we've lost a couple of games. We've lost a couple of 3 games in a row, and but we're still there behind Eddie Howe because we know the job he's doing. That's the thing. And we beat a poor Fulham side on Saturday. Yes, it took a while to break them down because when they went down to 10 men, we were finding it hard. But after half time, we come out a different side altogether, and we absolutely took the game to them and thumped them. We probably could have thumped them 5, 6, 7-0, and it wouldn't have been. Nobody would have batted an eyelid, And there is talk going around. There is talks of going around that the FA are waiting for the referee's report, and they might upgrade Raul Jimenez's ban to a longer one because they're not happy with the kung fu kick. If he wants to be an actor and take over from Jackie Chan, I suppose he needs to bugger off to Hollywood and give up footballing. I'm sure he'd do well in the Jackie Chan movie, but he can keep that off the football field because if he carries that on, he's going to end up injuring somebody seriously. And, Sean Longstaff's lucky he did pull out of it in a way because if he hadn't have, we could have had a major crisis on our hands. And, that's nothing short of assault, really, when you think about it. To be 5 foot in the air. And that was all because he was pissed off after Lascelles went up and elbowed him, but he didn't do it deliberately because even VAR cleared it and said, no foul play. And he was up a height, and he was on a rage, and he thought, right, I'm going to go in now and I'm going to tackle somebody because I'm feeling very angry here. He thought he was the Incredible Hulk, but he was more like the Incredible Sulk when he went off that football field getting his red card. And he even didn't go straight away. He tried to argue with the referee.
And the thing about that challenge, if you can call it that, is why was he so high when the ball wasn't that high? Because when Longstaff played the ball, it was maybe a foot or two off the ground, and yet he collided with Longstaff's head. And Longstaff is 6'3". So why is he so high in the air?
Only he would know.
Yeah.
And then for Marco Silva to come out after the game and say what he said, to say that the referee doesn't have the ability or the experience to handle a crowd of over 50,000 because they got to the referee. It's absolutely scandalous. I thought that young man, who was only 30-year-old, that referee, I thought he had a great game against us. I thought he was brilliant. Yes, he got the red card wrong. He should have given a red card. He only gave a yellow, but he got sent to the monitor. And I'll give the referee fair play. He asked to see it in real time, and then he wanted to see the slow-mos as well. And do you know what? He come to the right decision, sent the player off. And yes, there was a couple of times he stopped the game when they went down injured. And I thought, but other than that, I thought Sam Barrett was absolutely spot on. And I tell you what, he was a breath of fresh air. And there should be a lot more referees in the Premier League looking at his performance on Saturday and taking a note out of his book. And then for Marco Silva to then go on and say, the referee gave the yellow card, which was fair enough against Raul. He says, but it was VAR who took over because all they want to do is send players off. I'm sorry, Marco Silva. Don't talk so much shite. It's only because your team are shite away from home. You're a shite manager. And I hope the FA come down hard on you as well for the way you've spoken about not just the referee, but VAR. Because I think VAR got that call right.
Yeah, I mean, I think in his defence, the referee, for only giving the yellow card, I think there was a player between him and Jimenez and Longstaff, so he might not have actually seen the whole incident clearly. He could see it was a foul, but I hadn't actually seen how how all the contact, because there were players that forget who it was. I know there was a Newcastle player that may have been obscuring his view slightly, so he gave the yellow card, and then obviously VAR came back and told him, yeah, you need to have another look at that. And I think for challenges like that, they shouldn't just put the still of the contact. They need to play it at full speed, or at least 3/4 speed, so you can actually see what happens. Because sometimes, especially in slow motion, it looks a lot worse. It can look a lot worse than it is.
That's
But
why. That's why when you watch him at the screen, he asks. You can see he's actually asking. You want to see you saw the real time first. You wanted to see that first. You wanted a couple of sees of that, watches of that, and then he wanted it in slow mo as well. That's what I'm saying. It's good refereeing. What was your thoughts on that referee, Roly? What did you make of Sam
good.
Barrett?
I mean, because I didn't notice him through the game. That's what you want with a ref. He let play go for both sides. There's nothing, no stupid decisions. He controlled the game, controlled the players. I thought he had a really good game. Got all the big decisions right. You can't ask more than that.
No, absolutely not.
He can ref us again.
Yeah, absolutely. Hells, who's hi to you, mate. Hope you're well. He says, look, I think Dan knows which side his bread's buttered. But if he goes to Man U, it will be for piles of money on the table and nothing else. And do you know what, Hells? That is an absolute brilliant comment, mate. It really is, because Dan Ashworth knows he's at a club that is progressing. If he goes to Man United, it is a backward step, in my opinion.
The thing about,
and like you say, yes, that's the only reason you would go if there was piles of money on the table. But to be honest with you, I think at the end of the day, I don't think Dan Ashworth will leave Newcastle United. I think he will stay. But also the comment before that, which come from Gary, and he makes a good point. The thing is, the rumour has it, he and the owners have had words over the Tonali signing. The owners are not happy about it. But again, we don't know. I've not heard that one, Gary. But yeah.
The other thing about the piles of money is that if we want to keep him, we can offer him piles of money as well. We can offer him more than Man United could. So I think there's been questions asked about the Tonali deal. It's not so much the player, his ability, it's the gambling. But with addicts, are very good at keeping their addiction hidden from people.
That's it, yeah.
That's what I mean. What they're supposed to do, they're supposed to go through all his bank accounts and his mobile to find out whether he's been gambling or not. It's not something he's going to be screaming and shouting about.
No.
But in all intents and purposes, the character that they actually the character and the ability that they judge the transfer on seem to have played out and be proved to be right. It's just this gambling that no one knew about, and it's very hard to ascertain that part of someone's private life. It's a pisser for us because we lost the player for the season, but that is unfortunate. Yeah, I'm sure there's an inquest and people saying, well, why didn't we know? What did we ask? And that's probably more to do with making sure it doesn't happen, making sure we've got systems in place to try and stop it happening again.
Absolutely. Stephen says, won't him going to Man United paint him as a mercenary? I can't see that happening. Well, that's a good point, Stephen, actually. Everybody's a mercenary when I've had piles of money. Ronald says, Jimenez thought he was Hong Kong Fooey and Silva is a whinging prick like Arteta. Absolutely, Ronald. Hi, Tony Roly in chat. Hi, Ian. Hope you're well.
There's just one thing I'd like to just say about everyone's talking about go to Man United if they're offering piles of money. Now, if we're under the old ownership, that's a valid argument because Man United are in a situation where they can offer piles of money. But it almost sounds like people have forgotten that actually we've moved on from the last owner who definitely wouldn't have paid the money to keep someone.
Exactly.
We're a different club now. So I don't think money is actually an issue in this.
No.
Because he'll be handsomely paid as it is. And if Newcastle want to keep him and they think that Man United are offering a lot more than is being paid now, they would offer him a new deal with better terms, which is something the previous ownership wouldn't have done. So saying it's going there for piles of money, I don't think that really cuts it because we're not Brighton, we're not Brentford.
Yeah,
we're not bottom feeders. We're dining at the top table now.
Absolutely. I'm just going to go through some comments, Roly. Tony and Roly, hope you're both well. Good evening. Good evening to you. Mary, hope you're well too. Stephen says, a red card all day. Not a bad ref, makes a change, says Lee. Absolutely, Lee. I thought he was terrific, by the way. And he's welcome at St. James's Park anytime, Coffee says, hi, Tony, Roly. Good evening, Coffee. Hope you're well. Mad Max says, Roly can't hide his addiction to the Belgium, though. Coffee says, here we go. This is what I like from Coffee. I like his little quote he puts in here, his predictions. I predict 5-2 Newcastle. Gordon zippy runs to score a brace. Miley out the box missile goal. Well, he did hit the ball against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge last season. Bruno, curly top corner goal. And Lewis Hall volley. Nkunku and Cole Palmer penalty for Chelsea. Okay, that's that. Yeah, do you know that? Yeah, that's interesting.
I do like that bit about Gordon zippy runs to score.
Do you know what I would laugh at, right? I know it sounds weird, but because obviously Lewis Hall can play tomorrow, by the way. I would laugh if Lewis Hall scored the winner in the 95th minute. How would that go down with Chelsea fans? He probably wouldn't celebrate. Although when Luar scored against us, he celebrated. And then after that, I said, you can do one, mate.
I think he'd celebrate because he's not playing for Chelsea at the moment. And at the end of the season,
only on loan from the mini.
Yeah, at the end of the season, if he hits the stipulations, he becomes a Newcastle player. I know he's not played a lot, but I think it's the press conference before Fulham. Eddie addressed it and said that the likelihood he's going to meet these stipulations for
criteria.
Yeah.
Ronald says, I do now book addicts, but many thought I was off my tits on the weekend overtime after raving, and they were wrong. Our men cough splutter. Bias says, for Ashworth to go there would have to be a compensation fee. We paid Brighton a few million. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he'll go, to be honest. I know it's a lot going around at the minute talking about it, and at the end of the day, Manu would try and get out of that, says Julie, and the only reason Chelsea have given us permission to play Hall is to get minutes to play, trigger the transfer. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee says, Lewis Hall will celebrate his goal by doing somersaults like Maxi used to do. Ronald says, I got it right that Anthony Gordon made the most tackles on Dan Burn comparing. Yeah. I mean, he done well, Gordon, didn't he? Ian says, I can't see Ashworth going to Man U. Do you know what? I can't either, Ian. I know Paul's been talking about this as well on Toon Review. But look, I can't see I can't see Dan Ashworth going to Man U, not at all. So yeah. Guys, we've got 29 watching at the moment, so if you haven't yet hit that like button, then please do. It only takes a couple of seconds to hit the thumbs up, and if you are brand new to this channel, then come and join this great community here by hitting that subscribe button as well. And obviously, if you want to become a member, you can join that by clicking the join button, which is 99p. And also, you can make a donation in the chat by clicking on the $sign as well. So there we go. Right, okay. And there we go, guys. I've just gifted another 5 black and white memberships. So 5 people will be lucky enough to pick up a membership, courtesy of me. So there we go. Thank you very much indeed. And those people have got memberships that I've just donated. I was proud to be a Jody, Colin Simpson, God, Tyson, and William Kane. So they are now members of the channel. So we head to Stamford Bridge tomorrow. And it's an 8 p.m. kickoff live on Sky Sports. Look, Chelsea beat Sheffield United the weekend. Let's not get overexcited because they beat Sheffield United 2-0 with 2 second half goals.
They were poor, Chelsea.
And a team of Sheffield United, the way they're playing, they should have, Chelsea should be rolling them over. They had Enzo Fernandez on the bench. Obviously, Conor Gallagher's the captain at the moment because Reece James is out injured. But look, you look at Chelsea and you think, are we afraid of them? Not at all. Not a chance. They're a team full of individuals. Nicholas Jackson isn't really a centre forward. And Breuer missed a sitter on Saturday for them. But look, I look at Chelsea and I just think they just look a club that's just all over the place. They're full of individuals. That erratic owner went out there and just spent a bit, spent $1 billion on players that have they improved? No. If you're going to go out there, if you've got that sort of money to go out there and buy players, then I'm sorry, you go out there and you buy players that are going to improve the team and make the team more competitive so that you're going to have that competitive edge at the top of the table. But Chelsea, they spent all that money in the mid-table, They're not even, so they're not even nowhere near challenging for Europe. I just don't see, and the fans are having to go Pochettino and wanting him out the club. And I'm like, well, it's not Pochettino's fault because, you could get Harry Houdini and he still couldn't make a difference for Chelsea, You could get Uri Geller to come and bend some spoons and even he wouldn't make a difference, So it doesn't matter who comes in. I don't think there's anything to fear going to Stamford Bridge tomorrow. I really don't. I know we've had a mixed record there in the past, but I believe we can go there tomorrow. We can get the result we need, and we can head back to Newcastle in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, and then we'll be 2 legs from the final. Roly, look, Chelsea, they're scraping wins. I'm sorry, but they scraped a win against Sheffield United. Look, all that money they've spent, why are they still sitting mid-table? Why aren't they at the top end?
Well, the simple reason for that is the players they bought have made them worse. It's simple. Bowley's got it the wrong way round. As he said, when you spend money on players, you're supposed to, especially the amount of money that they spent, you're supposed to get better, not worse. Chelsea, they still have some good players, but let's say they're individuals. They're not a team. They're not playing particularly well. But we still got to turn up. Nicholas Jackson, for me, is a mid-table championship striker at best. He's not up to the job in the Premier League. He got a hat-trick against Spurs, but they were playing against 9 men before they actually started running away with it. I don't know what it is about Chelsea. You look at them. I mean, when they played us at St James's, I struggled to find any of them who made an impression. I mean, Conor Gallagher runs around a lot. He's got a lot of energy, but didn't seem to do a lot. We've got to turn up, though. Like every Premier League match, if you don't turn up, you'll get beat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't fear Chelsea. Cole Palmer has been good until he comes up against a good team. He's very anonymous against us. Had a good game against Man City, but obviously he's got that's my they sold me. I'm going to show them attitude. And Manchester City at the moment are playing by their standards. They've been terrible. Why can't they play like that when they play us? They always play well. But Chelsea like the firepower, they like the organisation, they like the coherence, they like the team spirit. They're not playing well. I would hope that we'd win. I'd hope that we'd win the game. I can't see any reason that we don't, unless we don't turn up. I don't think that our players have that attitude. I mean, the games where we've not been great, looking at Bournemouth and Everton, you're looking that these have been games where the guys were literally dead on their feet after really tough games in Europe previously. And it's not like the guys didn't try, it's just they were dead on their feet. We've come off a morale-boosting win against Fulham. I don't see any reason why we can't win. As I say, we need to turn up.
Yeah. Coffee makes a good point. He thinks Todd Bowley's ruining Chelsea.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't improved them, that's for sure. They've declined since he's gone there. Thanks, Julie. Gary says, I predict the team that scores the most goals will win. Yeah, obviously, Gary. Bowley's a laughing stock. He thinks he's in a candy shop, says Julie. Bias says, is Nkunku back? Even if he's back, he's not going to be fully fit, is he? So, Coffee says, Pochettino said they need more players in January. What? Chelsea, all the players have no idea, says Lee. Ronald says, Uri Geller snapped them spoons in a clever way, Tony. Yeah, he did. More players, says Pochmat, says Julie. I mean, look, Eddie today, on the journey in the Carabao Cup, he said, look, the two draws we had previously in this cup, they are as difficult as you can get. The beauty of those two games is has shown we can raise our game against the top teams in this competition. We are determined to progress and create more memories. We know this will be difficult, but we know the prize on offer. So Eddie, it's a rallying call there from Eddie to say, look, let's get out there and make the best of this opportunity and get through as well. And he also went on to say about Sven Botman. He said, look, he's rehabbed really well, so we will have to make a decision on whether we start him in this game. There are certain players that lift the team that little bit extra. He is one of those players. He's a big presence, a big guy, and we've missed his presence. And he says the players have missed him being around the team. He's obviously well liked, Sven Botman, by all the players. He says about Fabian Schär and Joe Linton, he said, look, both players will have scans today. He says, so we'll know much more, but they don't appear too bad, but I'm reluctant to say too much before we have the scan results back. In other words, what Eddie's done is he's been very clever and he's learned, because the last time when he said they're not serious and they won't be out long, it did actually come back to haunt him. So this time around, he's been a bit more clever with the media and said, look, we'll wait till the scan results are back. We don't think they're serious, but we'll just have to wait and see what the scans come back and say. But I'm reluctant to give you any sort of timescale. And that's well done by Eddie Howe, by the way, on that one. On Chelsea, he does say they are dangerous opponents for us. They're a very good team with a very good manager. Both teams will be equally motivated to do well. We will pick a team that will give us the best chance of winning. We desperately want to win as well. And on Isak, he said, look, Alex has a problem with his groin. He had a scan last week. It's not a big problem. It's just a minor one. Probably more fatigue than anything. Is it enough for us to need to monitor him and be careful with him? So there we go on that one as well. So look, it looks like Isak, could he be starting tomorrow or could he be on the bench? I think, in all honesty, I think he may be on the bench tomorrow. But he is going to put the team out tomorrow. Now there was one important thing in that press conference as well, that he's going to have a talk with Kieran Trippier. Obviously Trippier had a rest Saturday because he was suspended. Probably done him the world of good, in all honesty. Would I start Trippier tomorrow night? I'm not sure I would. Do you know? I wouldn't. I may rest him. I think I just have him on the bench and bring him off if you need to, because I think one player that really deserves to start that game tomorrow night is this man now on screen, Emil Kraft. I thought he was terrific on Saturday when he come on for, when obviously we lost Share, Byrne went to left centre back and Tino went to left back and Kraft came on. Now this guy's only played 3 games since he come back from his 14-month injury hell after Tranmere tried to get rid of him. Look, I think he was absolutely terrific on Saturday. The nutmeg on Bobby Decova-Reid, I mean, that was brilliant until he had to get fouled, because Bobby Reid didn't like being, nutmegged the way he was. But I thought Kraft played well. I thought he had a terrific game. And you know what? I would play him tomorrow night. Let's be honest, yeah. This guy is a Swedish international after all, and he gets picked for his country every time. And, he can play centre-back, he can play right-back, we know that. And again, it's another player that's improved under Eddie Howe. Now, I was discussing this yesterday. There's talk that obviously if we get a replacement would sell him in January. I wouldn't. I'd keep him till the end of the season. Why sell him? I thought he had a great time on Saturday. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And you know what? Do you agree, Roly? Would you play him instead of Trippier tomorrow night?
Possibly. I thought he had a terrific game. It's not a risk to play him. Whether we do, but we're getting down to the sharp end of the competition, and if we want to win it, we might be playing a full strength side. But I wouldn't be averse to playing him. I know what you mean about not wanting to sell him in January, but I believe he's a free at the end of the season. If it helps with FFP and we got a good offer, I'd consider it. I think a lot of it will be dependent on our injury situation as well, with regards to playing going out. But at the moment, you've got all the right backs. You've got Trippier, you've got Livramento. I don't know where Manquillo is on his return. We've got a few right backs.
There's no return date yet for Manquillo.
Yeah. But it'd have to be a good offer. But I'd consider it. I wouldn't necessarily say I'd take it, but if it's a good enough offer, you've got to take it because it gives us a little bit more spending power either in January or in the summer.
Yeah.
And also, yes.
Also on Team U, I think with obviously we know Joe Linton's probably not going to make tomorrow's game because he didn't look right when he went off. This lad comes back into the midfield in the starting place, Lewis Miley. Again, I thought had a terrific game Saturday. Took his goal really well. This guy is playing well above his age limit. I mean, look, 17 years of age, and he's playing well above his years. The youngest scorer for us in the Premier League since James Milner. So you're going back a long time when James Milner was our youngest scorer in the Premier League.
And
But this lad is just, he's just played so well. And look, he was unlucky to get put on the bench on Saturday, but I think it was a right call in a way to start him on the bench. But he came on for Joe Linton, and he was absolutely terrific, especially second half. So I think tomorrow he'll start in that midfield three. I think he'll be alongside Bruno and Longstaff. Do you reckon, Roly?
Yeah, man, I think he started on the bench because he hadn't finished his homework for Monday. So, yeah,
But our lad's getting some stick for that, isn't he?
Well, he's a young lad, and hats off to him. He's been superb for us. I think that with Joe Linton out, and I know Eddie didn't mention Joe Willock in this press conference, but with those out, and Elliot Anderson, who did say it's recovering, but it's slowly.
Yeah,
you do have to play him in midfield, but I have no problem with that because the kid can play.
Yeah, absolutely can.
If he wasn't good enough, Eddie wouldn't have been bringing him on, let alone starting him. He'd have played someone out of position if he wasn't good enough. And he is good enough. So, he's been, even in the poor run, he's been one of our better performers as well. That's not saying that players haven't played well. I mean, if it wasn't for Bruno's outstanding performance on Saturday, he probably wouldn't have been man of the match. Right? How good was Bruno on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, look, he was outstanding. I gave him man of the match yesterday, Roly. In fact, I've got a new thing going now, so I do a top three now. So what it is Bruno was my man of the match, and look, I had to literally split hairs for who was going to be second in that list because it was so close. But I actually tipped. So second place, runner up to Bruno, I put Emil Kraft, and then third I put Lewis Miley, because I just thought Kraft had been on the pitch a little bit longer than Miley, and I thought Kraft was superb at right back. He really was. So yeah, that's the reason I went that way. And a few people actually agreed with me and said that's actually, a few people went that way. A couple of people went Miley second, then Kraft third. But I thought that was the best top three we had. You couldn't really. It's hard not to give a man of the match to anybody, but obviously Bruno was the standout performer.
The only thing that I would say is that it would be a difficult choice between Miley, Kraft, and Livramento for those bottom two places. I thought Tina had another thing.
I mean, look, Miggy got a goal. Miggy Almiron got a goal on Saturday. He works hard, but come on, we need more from a right winger than that. You've got to have a right winger that puts assists in, Roly. And
I'm not.
And again, we're seeing it. He's having to go to his left foot, and it's like by the time he does that, the defenders are on him, and this is a problem. This is why I want to see him on the left. When he was on the left against Man United at Old Trafford, he was better out there. He was better. And that's exactly what, and this is why I keep saying it, and I keep going over old ground. When he was in the MLS, he played on the left, and he was devastating from the left. He isn't that devastating from the right. He's better on the left. Yes, he's good. When he gets a ball on his left foot, when he gets a ball on his left foot, when he's on the right-hand side, and he puts a beautiful curler into the top corner, fantastic, because he can do that. But I think he's better from the left. But obviously, Gordon's got the left berth at the moment. And, I sort of saw Craig Hope saying, well, Anthony Gordon hasn't really been at the races, even though he's been pretty good. And I thought, well, yeah, but hang on. How many left wingers have we got in the club that can actually like, say you can say to Anthony Gordon, right, you can sit out this game because we can give you a breather and we can play this because we haven't got one.
Yes, because Harvey
Simple
Barnes,
as.
yeah, so
Is injured.
Harvey Barnes is
Yeah,
injured.
he's
So
4 to 5 weeks away.
yeah.
Just going to go to some comments.
Before we move on, we're talking about right wingers. Just going to throw a couple of names that I think would be interesting to get. There's the pair at Crystal Palace, Essay and is it Elise?
Elise, I think he's a cracking player.
And Essay as well. I think they're both cracking players. Whether they're
As
on
he
the
is injured, though.
I thought he'd just come back.
Was he back? Was he Saturday? I don't know. To be honest with you, I didn't really take much notice. I mean, Elise is a good player. Let's be honest, he is a good player. And they got him from Redden. He's actually a French under-21. Although, I did see him at the King Power when England played France and he weren't that good that day. But, we've seen him in the Premier League. He scored goal of the season, hasn't he? Or has he? I know. I think he's probably just lost that now to Garnacho's, But look, it's definitely up there as one of the goals of the season, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He is a good winger, but I think you're probably talking 40, 50, 60 million possibly.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, he wouldn't be cheap. I'm just saying that they're players that I think potentially be an upgrade on Miggy.
Yeah.
And they're a lot younger as well. So yeah, I'll just throw a couple of names that I think are players that are actually useful and could do a job for us going forward, in helping us get to where we want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, he's only 22 as Elise, so he's got a long time before his peak. I mean, he's got a contract of 2027. He started 4 out of 6 games. He's got 2 goals this season, but no assists as yet. So yeah, he's going to get better with the age, and and I think you'd fit right into our kind of football that we play.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's a target or we're looking at him. I just think he's just a player that can do a job for us. So I say, when it comes to our targets, I know nothing.
Yeah.
I probably know less than nothing.
Yeah. But then we've got Yankuba Minte to come back. So look, he's started 6 out of 12 games in Eredivisie this season, and he's got 3 goals and 2 assists. So
he's played Champions League as well. He's got some Champions League experience too, so that's good.
Absolutely,
yeah,
Roly.
A little bit. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to be in this. We want to be in the situation where Manchester City are, in that we've got great players all over the pitch and on the bench.
Yeah.
You sort of forget about Minte, but obviously Elise's got that Premier League experience that Minte hasn't. But he'll get it.
Yeah.
It's like he's from all accounts, he's doing really well in the Eredivisie, which is what you want.
And while we're talking about Minte, right. So Eddie Howe says there isn't a clause where we can recall him in January, but if we're behind with injuries and if we're not great with injuries and things like that, he says Newcastle would have to meet an agreement with not just the player but also Feyenoord to say, look, can we bring him back because we need him back. So Eddie says that's the way we've got to do it. We've got to, because there's no clause that he can come back in January. It's a full loan until the end of the season. So it would have to be the agreement of Feyenoord to say, actually, okay, then fair enough. You've got injuries. If you need him, you'll have to take him back. He is your player at the end of the day. But there again, it's up to Feyenoord and it's also up to the player. Minte might say, well, I'd rather stay here on loan for the season and learn a lot more from Arne Slot, who's a very good manager, by the way, and then go back in the summer having had a full season in Eredivisie. So, he might be settled there in for the season, and that's fair enough, and that's fair play because it's only
I,
part of the lad's development, and there's not a better manager. I know Eddie Howe's a great manager, but I'm on about like a coach abroad for him. Probably Arne Slot's probably the best he can get because Tottenham wanted Arne Slot as manager and he refused to go to Tottenham. So, look, I think he's a very good manager, and
I,
yeah,
I, I think with the Minter deal, the Feyenoord is they hadn't envisioned bringing him back because they wanted him to develop there, which is why they didn't have a release clause. I think you tend to have release clause in loans where the players are more experienced. So, like they're in
yeah,
their sort of like 20s,
yeah,
the early mid 20s. You can see the potential, but they're not going to get games. So you send them on loan, but you also have the option to bring them back.
yeah,
But with someone as young as him, I think you either do a sort of like half season loan until January and then reassess, or
mm,
loan him for the whole season. It's obviously it's looking like they've gone for the whole season.
yeah,
Weren't anticipating needing to have him back, but we're getting players back.
yeah.
I think that one of the disappointments for the situation with Miggy is that Jacob Murphy's injured. So there's no challenger for his
Competition.
position, no competition. So I think
Yeah.
Miggy has been better when he's had that competition because even last season when he had that after he had that purple patch, he spent time on the bench because Murphy was playing so well.
I mean, I know we saw Matt Ritchie come on again Saturday. Look, he had a volley well saved by Leno, by the way. But he weren't happy with Callum Wilson because Callum Wilson was so desperate to try and get a goal.
Yeah,
Um,
he didn't pass
Ritchie
him a
was
couple.
to the left of him, and Ritchie just give him the look to say, "What you doing, Callum? Why aren't you passing that? You should." He had the easier chance, but let's be honest, Wilson didn't have the best of games on Saturday, in all honesty, and um,
Harsh there. I thought he led the line well. It didn't really get much change.
I mean, if Almiron doesn't score, that's a penalty in my eyes because he was bundled over.
Yeah,
But that's the only reason. I think fair play to the referee playing on and letting Miggy score because if he'd blew up there and then, yeah, it would have been a penalty, but um, at least he let the play go on and Miggy scored and we just got on with the game. We didn't have to wait for a VAR check or anything like that. Although there was one slightly for the off to see if it was offside, but he was nowhere near offside. Callum Wilson, he was definitely onside. It was the Fulham player playing him on side. I think it was Tossin. I think it was playing him on side. But I'll tell you who I was impressed by with Fulham, and I thought he was getting down the lane well. And that's the left back Anthony Robertson. I thought he's got some pace about him. That young
yeah,
man.
it's good. I thought Tossin handled Wilson well for
He
most of
did.
the game.
Yeah, he's out of contract this summer, I think. Tossin. Let's get to some comments. Ronald says, if we get an early goal or two, let's be honest, lads and lasses, their supporters effing shit. Do you know what? You're absolutely right. He says, has any of our channels had a Chelsea guest for some banter? I have never got one on yet. No, I haven't. Craft is great for us, says Ronald. Yeah, absolutely. Alan says, I would actually prefer Miley in midfield. Give J7 a rest. Was the outstanding player when played Chelsea pre-season. Miley was. Craft defo, just look at his stats. Absolutely, Alan. Spot on. Craft was spot on. Alan says the way Howe was talking about Craft, I think he keeps him. Julie says Craft's been amazing. Absolutely. Alan says type of player you need that can play multiple positions. Absolutely, his versatility. Gary says the second half saw Mojo coming back. The boys were so positive at the end of the game. You could see it in their faces. Absolutely. Definitely. Iron Hall can play, could cover in defence and midfield. I asked a question about his availability and it was dismissed, but they are wrong. Kraft has to keep his place, says Gary. With injuries being high, this is not the time to, in fact, the right time for Hall and others to make their mark, says Mary. Well said. Bruno Miley Kraft. in the midfield, says Lee. Bruno was man the match, but young Lewis Miley was second, and then Crafton third, and that's your opinion. Yeah, that's absolutely fine, Ronald. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, that's what it's all about, opinions, mate, and we love that. Bruno was from a different planet against Fulham, wasn't he? Just if just a shame that AC Milan result, we just couldn't get that over the line. Julie says, I wonder what Eddie did to Joe Linton and Emil Kraft. Just give him proper coaching. Coffee says, did you see the news of Man United wanting to offload players to Saudi Arabia? Where's the sports washing brigade of Sky, Carvey, Solical, Miguel Delaney and Oliver Hull? Don't get me started on Carvey Solical because I can't stand that bloke. That bloke really grates on me. I mean, look, he's the most arrogant twat on TV. I just can't stand the bloke. Every time something goes against us, he likes to stand there with glee and a big smile on his face. And I think, do you know what? Just piss off. You know, he's not even that great. He's not even a great correspondent. He's nowhere near Keith Downey. Ronald says Eddie accepts Mickey missed chances since Everton and praised him with his goal. Yeah, he did. Absolutely did. He makes them drink Eddie's soup. Mickey should try some of his soup. What Mickey should go and do is go and speak to Demba Ba and say, can I try some of your strawberry syrup, please? Because that's what Demba Ba used to have, didn't he? Remember? Demba Ba with his strawberry syrup. Bruno man the match on Saturday. What a performance. Great for Miley to learn from. Never want Bruno to leave, but I think inevitable. Hopefully not this summer. Release clause a bit worrying, says Alan. I wouldn't worry Alan too much. I don't think Bruno would go anywhere soon. Well, there's no way. I don't think you go to Real Madrid because, I mean, look, you've got Bellingham there. Bellingham's in the form of his life there at the minute. He scored again yesterday. And look, I've had this argument with some people, and some people are saying to me, maybe I'm jumping into it too quick to say Bellingham's probably one of the best players in the world, but I'm sorry. That man is a freak. Look at the age of him. Look how he's done for Real Madrid this season. You know, he's gone there with a huge price tag to Real Madrid. You know, he's gone from Germany to Spain, which isn't easy. And, you know, this lad is just unreal at the moment. And I tell you what, I wouldn't rule him out for being the Ballon d'Or winner in 2024. I certainly wouldn't. And I'll tell you now, he will be one of the standout players in Euro 24 in Germany. I mean, he started all 15 games this season for Real Madrid. He's got 13 goals and he's got 2 assists, you know. His passing is 90% accurate per game, you know. Like I say, 13 goals in 15 games for somebody who plays in midfield. That ain't bad at all. I think he's some player. I really like Jude Bellingham. I think he's great. And I'm so pleased England have him, I tell you. Because if he was playing for another team, my God, you'd be jealous, you know. And thank God England have him. If England go out and have a great Euros, he could be the man that helps you win it. Ronald says, I love Bruno's reaction when Miley's goal. Class, yeah. There were Man United fans who would trade Anthony for Miggy. They quite happily would, Coffee, yeah, because Anthony is just a championship player. I'm sorry, he's not that great. He's not worth 85 million quid, that's for sure. That's why Man U are in the trouble they're in, because they're spending money on players that aren't even worth it. You know? Maguire's another one. Bruno looked close to tears, yeah. Clearly not daft if he knocks Spurs back. Yeah. Got to use Saudi option if it's possible. If FFP stops there, Newcastle an emergency. Tonali didn't gamble. Not Toon's fault, absolutely, Alan. Yeah, I'm sure we will use the Saudi market. I'm sure we will. Lewis, hi Lewis. He says, I can't believe we're Lewis, man. He's 17 years old. His first senior goal for Newcastle. Roll on Tuesday. Hopefully he can get another goal for us. Yeah, let's hope so, Lewis. Gary says, I hope we don't sell Murphy. I'd love to see him reach his full potential playing for us. There is talk that we've told Forest and Palace if they pay 20 to 25 million, he's theirs. But we have got a replacement lined up it's going around at the minute. It's getting stronger. Matthias Sule who's on loan at Frosinone from Juventus. He's worth about 17 to 20 million pounds. And Foxy's even said he's a good player if we get him in because he's only 20-year-old Argentinian. He's a bit like Miggy, but he scores more. So he's already got a 1-2 ratio, and that's for a right winger. And that's playing for a team like Frosinone. Alan said, I thought Wilson did okay. Hit the post in last minute and held the ball up a lot. Yeah, he did. Yeah, to be fair, he did. Coffee says Tonali's the only player suspended from the betting scandal. What about the others like Zaniolo and the others? Fagioli, the one who grassed everybody up. He got his ban cut by 5 months, so he's out serving a 7-month ban at the moment instead of a 12-month ban. I don't know what's happened with Zaniolo. Not heard another thing about that one. So strange.
Zaniolo didn't plead guilty.
No.
Tonali pleaded, put his hands up, and said, "Yeah, I did it," which is why his ban was 10 months rather than 18.
Yeah. Bias says, I would start Trippier. It's an important game. Not being trained, has he? Trippier? No, he hasn't. Agree, would start Trippier. So many assists, can't leave out. Yeah, true, Alan. I hope Mourinho and Sociedad knock out PSG. I do as well, Coffee. Yeah. I really do. You know, I think if we'd got through and played them, I think we would be going to the quarterfinals because we would beat them. Alexander Isak. It would have been interesting because, look, Isak would be coming up against his old club and Mikel Merino would be coming up against his old club. It would have been like a reunion of the ex-players for each club. So, yeah, it would have been absolutely brilliant. Coffee says, I'm glad Bellingham didn't go to Liverpool. Nah, I think he done the right thing. Stephen says, England have Southgate as well, so no chance. Yeah, but Bellingham's on a different level. Now I would say, your court do, Tony. You have England has the best 2 players in the world at the moment, Bellingham and Kane, who can't stop corners, scoring, so favourite for the Euros. You're correctly meant to say, yeah, absolutely, Alan. I think as well. Wait, Mafinho could be going. Well, that's just rumours going around, Coffee. We don't know how true that is, though.
And he's still injured, so.
Yeah, exactly. Beale gone to Sunderland, says Ronald, was the worst kept secret in football. As funny as let's all laugh at Sunderland, the sad magging bastards. They are now basing his tenure on beating us like we are the Northeast Brazil Heat. Do you know what? They may as well have got Ian Beale. Ian Beale's a better businessman. He had the cafe, he's had the Beale's Eels and all that. So, you know, it's more like Ian Beale rather than Michael Beale. Lewis says, why was Leno not booked for taking his sweet ass time with everything? Yeah. Apparently Lewis Hall can play tomorrow. Yeah, he can. Sociedad only conceded 2 goals in the group, so hard to beat. Yeah, but let's hope they beat PSG. That's for sure.
PSG. Right.
Now the next thing is, if we make any changes tomorrow, which we should do, really, not too many changes, I would hope, but you know, right. So we know Dubravka had an illness, hence when he played last Wednesday. We know he's had a sore shoulder as well. Thankfully, Saturday wasn't really tested, so he didn't have a lot to do, in fact. The overhead kick from Raul Jimenez was probably easy pickings for him. There was a cross a corner came in, which he got a hold of, no problem. But the shots they put in, they didn't really test Dubravka, in all honesty, which they didn't do. So bearing in mind with that, with him having this, well, I don't know if his shoulder still sore off. It's better now, I don't know. We've not heard nothing more on that one. Would you keep him in tomorrow, Rory, or would you give Karius the go? You
I
know,
knew
he played
you'd
in the
do
Carabao Cup final last season, and look, I think this
that.
guy deserves a chance. You know, he's sitting there being patient. Um, if I'm honest, I'll give Karius a go tomorrow.
Yeah, I know you would. You've said that just about every game, every day since.
And I'm not the only one to say that, Roly. A lot of
I
fans out
know,
there are
but
saying that.
Eddie obviously sees him as his number two. I thought he was a lot better against Fulham. I thought he commanded his box well, came out and caught everything. All the shots were pretty much straight at him. So you can't ask him to do more than that. And I think that
Yeah,
he is, in Eddie's mind, he is the number two. So he'll be starting. I have no problem with that.
yeah,
Karius is just going to have to be patient. If Dubravka picks up an injury, no worries about Karius coming in. But until that's the case, it will be Dubravka. I know lots of
yeah,
people want Karius to have a chance. It's just not going to happen. He's third choice for a reason. And just because Pope has got injured doesn't make him first choice.
yeah. Dubravka for beer. Uh, Coffee says, I'm glad we got Lewis Hall over Cucurella last summer. Cucurella's just a poor player. I mean, he looked good for Brighton, but let's be honest, he's not that great, is he? I think he just likes going to the hairdressers and getting his hair permed.
I mean,
Thinks
basically,
he's thinks he's Kevin Keegan in disguise, but he's nowhere near the Kevin Keegan. He'd
I think
never even beat the lick Kevin Keegan's boots.
you say that he's not a great player. I think what it is, he's been Chelsea'd like our players were Bruced.
Yeah. Julie says, carry a single. Coffee says, I have to go, but bye, Tony Rolling All. Bye to you, Coffee. Have a nice evening, mate. Dubs, game's too big a risk. I mean, not being funny, you could have put the youth team keeper in on Saturday, Harrison, and he would have had the best debut ever because he had nothing, because like I say, there was nothing to do because Fulham didn't even test. Ronald says, I've criticised the Breakfast since Everton, but despite that, he kept a clean sheet and deserves his start. See you later, Coffee. People seem about the Coffee. Gary says, Dubravka looked more connected to the team on Saturday. Yeah, he did. Foxy says, did you watch the Club World Cup game? I haven't, Foxy, no, mate. He says, Andre, man of the match for Fluminense, and most likely face Man City in the final Premier League bound in January. And I did tell Roly Foxy, because you're in the chat now, but he missed out coming on Friday when you mentioned about Anderlecht beating Barcelona, because, you know, they're a great team on the Belgium. But if you want to get any Belgian digs in for Roly Foxy, get them in now, mate. Get them in, because he's missed it.
Bring him.
Alan says, Tony is the president of Carrier Support in the UK. No, I'm not no, not at all. No, I'd just like to see the guy get a chance. That's all. I think, you know, he's been patient enough, and you know, if he doesn't, he doesn't. You know, we make do with Dubravka. Stephen says, Kraft for me at right back did great. Gets forward, trips for Luton. That's it. That's not a bad shout, Stephen. That's not a bad shout. Bia says, Andre needs to go to Belgium for a year. Add some grit to his game.
Andre? Not sure who he's talking about.
Who?
Said
Andre.
Not sure
Yeah, he plays for Fluminense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's what he's saying. Yeah, Andre for Fluminense. Fluminense. His 22-year-old Roly is Andre. He's valued at 26 million euros. He plays defensive midfield and midfield centre. Strengths are his long balls and his ball control. His weakness is discipline. In the Club World Cup, which has started now. But if we're looking the league this season, he started 29 out of 31 games. He hasn't scored any goals and he hasn't got any assists because, like I say, he can play defensive midfield or midfield centre, so he's not a attacking midfielder. But, you know, he does a lot. He does an absolute lot. If I look at his stats in this game, when they played Santos and they won 3-0, he played the whole 90 minutes. He had 126 touches of the ball. His accurate passing was 100. He had 100 out of 108 passes, which were accurate, which is 93%. 3 out of 6 long balls were accurate. 2 out of 3 dribble attempts were successful. He won 10 out of 15 ground duels. He lost possession 10 times in that game in 90 minutes. He done 2 fouls. He was fouled 3 times. He made 2 clearances, 5 tackles, and he dribbled past 1 player once. I mean, look, I'll share the heat map on screen. He looks absolutely, yeah. He's the type of midfielder we would love to have in our team, to be honest with you. And can you imagine him with Bruno and Joel? Oh God, honestly, to be fair, if I can share this screen, but yeah, this guy is. There we are. There's his heat map there. I mean, look at the amount of work he does. All that massive, bright red area. That's where he operates. Very rarely does he go in the opponent's box, but look at the red areas there. That's immense for somebody who's only 22 years of age. And I can see why Foxy's raving about him. Type midfielder you like at Newcastle, Roly?
Well, I don't know much about him, but he's obviously puts in the work, so that's a plus point.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about him.
He's only 22, Roly, as well.
Yeah, where's he playing?
He plays for Fluminense in Brazil.
So it's not in the Belgium league.
No, he's worth 26 million euros, though.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know. I really don't know anything about the guy, so it's hard to say. Yeah, well, would I take him or not? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
It's for wiser heads than me to decide.
Although, yeah, although in his in the 31 games he's played, remember their season starts different hours. He's had 11 yellow cards and 1 red. Well, that's why the C's discipline is the.
That could be a problem.
Yeah, but he's young, isn't he? You know.
Yeah. He's young, but it could be a temperament thing. But
yeah,
as I say, I don't know enough about the guy, so I can't really make an informed comment on him.
Mad Max says, get them in now. You never know when Roly will drop off the radar again. Hashtag part-timer, I think, for Belgium. Gary says, I heard Tony sends doggy. No, I don't send doggy poo to Debravka. Ronald says, I was surprised what Belgian biscuit meant part from a biscuit. Alan says, heat map's impressive. Absolutely. Ian says, a lot of red in there. Yeah, isn't that just, Ian? Who is from the time? Who is from the time that we absolutely detested Speedy at Chelsea? Oh yes, David Speedy. Jesus, yeah, God, used to hate him, didn't we? Foxy says he breaks up play, basically a Tiote type player, but technically similar to Bruno. So you got a bit of Tiote and Bruno in him.
That's
That's
not
not
bad.
a bad. That is not a bad clone, is it?
No, not at all.
So yeah, absolutely Foxy. I wonder if we're watching him. The club, I mean. Gary, you have to remember that the heat map is only because he was being chased by a badger. Alan says, nah, you could know burning that NG in Belgium League. uh, so, right, we're going to ask for your predictions, Roly. So, what is your prediction for tomorrow and who scores?
Oh, I think we win the game. 2-0.
Yeah.
And again, lots. It depends on how many changes that Eddie makes, but let's say Callum Wilson for both of them.
Wilson for both. Yeah. I'm going to say 3-1. I think the way we played Saturday, we'll have our tails up. So I think 3-1. I think Botman will start alongside Lascelles. I'm actually going to go Lascelles with a header first from the corner. A Tino Livramento goal. There you go. 2 defenders scoring. And Bruno. There you go. I think Lascelles, Livramento. I think Livramento will score one from the edge of the area. And Bruno. Bruno's been trying to score for ages, so I think his time's coming out to score the goal. And I think for them it'll be Jackson who scores. Let's get to some comment. Hey?
I think Jackson will score.
Yeah. He did against us in pre-season, didn't he?
That's pre-season.
They've got no Sanchez in goal either. He's out injured by the looks of it. He wasn't even in the squad on Saturday.
Okay.
Gary says, yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't in the squad at all. Those games between us and Chelsea and Sheffield, Mel Sterling and them lot couldn't stand Speedy. Yeah, he was a good player, Mel Sterling, in his day, wasn't he? Bias says, I think we bruised them. We bruised them to one side, 3-0. Miggy Wilson and Longstaff. You see how he's done that, Roly? Still see him brush them to one side, bruise them to one side.
Yeah.
Lee says 3-1 Miley, Wilson and Longstaff. Okay. That's not a bad shout, is it, either? So we'll see what happens. And, you know, I don't care how we win the game. I don't care. Even if we only won the game 1-0 and it come off the keeper's arse in the last minute of the game, as long as we win the game, I couldn't care as long as we're in that semi-finals.
Yeah. It'd be better to win it in 90 minutes.
Yes, absolutely. Ronald says, I seen a gadget on here stating Gascoigne was shite and wanted to get away from us straight away. How are you, lads? Warboard sold him and that won't happen with mine either, Radjiga. Do you know what it is, Ronald? That's the thing. Gordon McKeague, you know, probably one of the worst chairmen we ever had. Him and Seymour, the two of them. Pair of shithouses, that's what they were. Stan Seymour. But yeah, they were the ones that got rid of Gaza and that because, you know, they were a selling club. sold Gaza for £2 million to Spurs. You know,
which may,
got
to be fair, 2 million at that time was quite a lot of money. It's not like 2 million today.
yeah.
So that would, I mean, it's not that far removed from when Trevor Francis was the first £1 million player. So it's not that the fee
Yeah.
was particularly bad. It's just they shouldn't have sold him.
No. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, their mourners are totally different to the ones we have now, though. Stephen says Jackson will score, but in a club late at 2-1 to the tune. Probably couldn't score in the club. I'm just giving, 2 and 3-1 Wilson to score, says Alan. Mad Max says Roly's had enough of us waffling on about Belgium, I see. Lee says I remember Speedy playing for Darlow. 3-1 to Newcastle, says Ronald. He's going the same as me. Julie's going 4-1 to Newcastle. Start Wilson to rough up their central defence. He's great at that, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Isak will start on the bench anyway.
Yeah. He's been carrying a little groin problem. I think that he played on. It probably came back a bit early and played because we had no strikers. Now Wilson's back and fit. They can afford to play Wilson and give him a little bit extra time to get over it. Yeah. Maybe play Wilson for 60 minutes and then bring Isak on.
Foxy says, did you see Union St. Gilloise beat Liverpool? Such a competitive league. What a place. What a country, Belgium.
When was that? Was that the winning?
No, man.
Yeah, but when?
It was just last week, Roly, wasn't it? They got beat.
Well, in the Europa League, was it?
Yeah, they got beat 2-1, Liverpool.
Did they? Oh.
Yeah. They scored in the 32nd minute through Mohamed Amora. Then Gerald Kwanzaa scored for Liverpool, the equaliser, the youngster. And then Cameron Puertas scored 2 minutes before half-time.
Well, if a youngster scored for Liverpool, it sounds like they're playing they weren't playing their big guns.
Well, this was a Liverpool team against Kelleher in goal.
Yeah.
Connor Bradley at right back. Canate, Kwanzaa, Luke Chambers, Harvey Elliott, Endo, Curtis Jones, Cody Gakpo, Ben Doak, and Kate Gordon.
Yeah, it was.
And then they brought their subs on. They brought on Callum Scanlon, Darwin Núñez, Joe Gomez, Ryan Gravenberch, James McConnell. So
it's a weakened Liverpool side, even with the subs they brought on. Gakpo's the only one that of any note.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. They still got beat off a team from Belgium.
Yeah, but
it doesn't matter, Roly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They still got beat. Still got beat, Roly.
Yeah.
They still had some decent players out there, Liverpool. Darwin Núñez couldn't even score against them. What a team. What a country, Belgium.
Darwin Núñez can't score against anyone other than us. That's no big thing. Was it against Luton where he missed an open goal from 2 yards?
Yeah.
I mean, they got screwed when they paid that money for him. I don't rate Núñez. It's just, and I hate him because the only team he seems to score against is us.
Ronald says, I was talking with Peter Biazzi days before he went to Liverpool and he wanted a pay rise playing for England and said it was McKeegan and the board if he went. Left a lot of first team at home.
Yeah.
Left a lot of the first team at home. Yeah, they did. They bet on where a cow will shite in the Belgian boring country being there. Ostend, Lake Newbiggin by the sea on a wet Sunday. Gary says, who's replacing J7 tomorrow? I think this guy will do a Smiley. Without a doubt. There's your answer, Gary. There's the guy on screen, Lewis Miley. He's got to take over tomorrow from J7. So that's the way I see it anyway happening. But yeah. Right, as we come into the end of the show, been on an hour and 40 minutes. If you did like what you see, then please do smash that like. It does help the channel. So if you haven't yet smashed a like, please do give it a like. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, come and smash a subscribe and be part of this great community we have here. And also, by hitting that bell notification, that tells you when we're live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows as well. So it's been great chat tonight. We've chatted about all sorts tonight, as well as the preview ahead of looking tomorrow, and we'll give our predictions. We'll be back with a pre-match show tomorrow at around 6:30ish. So do keep an eye out for that one. I think if we get through, I think the Carabao Cup draws Wednesday evening, so there will be a Carabao Cup draw show. So do join me for that. Obviously, if we get through. If we don't get through, I'm not going to bother doing it, or will I do it? I don't know. Anyway. But yeah, I'll just go to some comments. Yeah, Alan's saying Miley as well. Ronald says, I was a youngin' got Peter's autograph for the injured Albert Craig at Swalwell Club. Ashley gambled, and the same with Andy Carroll. Yeah, he did. Yeah, definitely. I remember Albert Craig. He wasn't a bad player, was he, Albert Craig?
He was okay. He wasn't a world beater, but
no,
he did a decent job.
The worst one we signed was John Robertson. He was awful.
No, Rob McDonald.
Oh, God, yeah. I remember when we signed Andy Hunt from Kettering Town. He wasn't bad at all, Andy Hunt. He was actually quite all right. He was quite decent. Lee says, fantastic show tonight, Tony and Roly and everyone. Big thumbs up. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
Would be great to qualify and get Borough or Port Vale in the semis. Absolutely, Foxy. Ian says, great show, guys. Cheers, Ian. Thanks very much as well, mate. Yeah, that would be a great draw, wouldn't it, Foxy? Absolutely. For Liverpool, anyway. And hopefully the Scouse Mackhams get beat off West Ham. But do remember...
Scouse Mackham's playing Fulham. It's
Fulham they're playing.
Yeah.
Yes.
West Ham are playing Liverpool.
Yeah, that's right. I got the wrong way around, Roly. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. West Ham are playing Liverpool. Yeah, let's hope West Ham beat Liverpool and Fulham beat the Scouse Mackhams. Anyway, remember, the future's bright. The future is definitely black and white. And I'll just go into some quick comments here before we head off. Miley's going to be hard to shift in that midfield. Yeah, absolutely. You've got the NG youth. Billy Whitehurst was our worst signing, says Gary. Oh, God, yeah, he was awful. Take care, everyone. Brilliant show as always. Good night. Cheers, mate. And good night, lads. Stephen Field as well.
Far worse.
Yeah. Julie says, great show as always. Good night, everyone. You too, yeah. Julie, as well. So, it's bye-bye from me.
That's goodbye from me.
How are you, the lads?